All right, hello there, South Mississippi, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams here on a Thursday, March 13th, 2025. Time is now 8:37 a.m., and we've got some weather to get to this weekend. If you are just waking up, we've been covering on Good Morning Mississippi the risk that has increased for our severe weather outlook going into the weekend. So let's get right to the information as we get things started this Thursday morning. So here's a look at what I'm tracking. For now, our weather pattern, mild, muggy, maybe a spotty shower, but probably not much chance for rain. But when you go to Saturday, the rain chance goes up and the potential for thunderstorms will increase as well. I think there's going to be a severe weather outbreak across our region. And coastal Mississippi, we will either get hit directly by this or it will be a very, very close call. Frankly, too close for comfort, because I'm telling you right now, I think we are going to see a tornado watch issued for most or all of South Mississippi based off of what I'm seeing so far today. Now, let's take a look at some of this information here. The latest outlook, which updated this morning, has increased our risk level up to level 4. So we'll put this full screen for you and show you that that level 4 encompasses areas like Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Macomb, Gulfport, Biloxi, Pascagoula, Bay St. Louis, Wiggins, Hattiesburg, Jackson, Meridian, Starkville, Birmingham, Montgomery, and Mobile. Now we can take a more zoomed in view and show you that all of our 6 southernmost counties share this exact same risk level 4. And you see 4 out of 5, what does that mean? Well, keep in mind that the higher the probability the higher the risk level means the higher the probability of storm damage and damaging storms actually happening. So you don't want that number to go high. You don't want to see a 4. You don't want to see a 5. Those types of numbers indicate a high probability of damaging storms. We rate the risk on a scale of 1 to 5. If you're seeing a 1 or a 2, that generally means a low probability of damaging storms. 3, a bit higher. Well, then you go to 4 and 5 and you start to see some stuff that doesn't happen too often. For example, in a 4, many severe storms will produce very large hail, damaging winds, and/or tornadoes. And we only see this type of risk level maybe once or less a year. So it's not something that you see too often. So this means that somewhere in this red zone, there will likely be many, not a few, but many reports of things like very large hail, damaging straight line winds, and tornadoes. Now, it doesn't have to happen for every location in there. What I'm saying is, here we are on the Mississippi coast for Gulfport, Biloxi area, and yeah, we're in the risk level 4 zone, but technically there is still a way out, because the risk level area does not guarantee every last town and community will get hit by that bad weather. It only just says that somewhere in that area you can get that to happen. So it could very well, all of the tornadoes that occur on Saturday, maybe they all happen closer to Hattiesburg and Meridian, and none of them happen closer to Gulfport, Biloxi. That is still a possibility. But it's really just too close to call and too close for comfort. If we're forecasting, if I could guarantee you right now that there will be an EF4 tornado that hits Hattiesburg on Saturday, I hope not, but if I could guarantee that for you right now, does that make you feel comfortable to go outside and spend time outside in South Mississippi on Saturday? I mean, if you know that a tornado is going to happen about 50 miles to your north in 3 days in advance, you know that you might want to be careful about your plans. So that's all we're saying, is just we want to watch this stuff closely. We do have some models that get a look at this. And what I'm going to do is show a zoomed out model first and then a more zoomed in model second. So here's a zoomed out version of the Futurecast to give you the big picture of everything. And we're going to take this full screen for you. So starting the clock Saturday morning at 7:30. Most of the severe weather is up here in this zone near Starkville, Jackson, Natchez. Not really down here along our Mississippi coast. Maybe a spotty shower here, but nothing too terrible. So if you have some plans on Saturday morning, you can see 7, 8, 9, 10 in the morning. Mississippi coast looks like we're doing fine. But then there are areas north of us that are still undergoing severe weather, anywhere near Baton Rouge, Macomb, Natchez. I would even say back here too. We're looking at Greenville, Oxford, Tupelo. All of those areas could be getting severe weather on Saturday morning, even though on the coast we're kind of catching a break. But we go to the afternoon and all of this is going to begin to move eastward. So now we're starting to see Hattiesburg getting in on it, maybe Pearl River County as well. Areas between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, this goes up to Jackson, probably Oxford, Tupelo, Starkville. All of those areas I think could begin to see severe weather, maybe even some strong tornadoes trying to spin up during that time frame. Now, this is really close to our 6 southernmost counties, and I think the later we go into the afternoon, the more we are going to see this moving eastward. So, you know, that time frame of about noon or 1 p.m. will be kind of our last call in coastal Mississippi before we begin to see some of this working in from the west. So let's go to the next time, about 3 or 4 p.m. And I think this is a time when we could see maybe some warnings popping off along the Mississippi coast. This area of showers and storms is going to be solidly moving through South Mississippi, through coastal Mississippi during this time. I know specifically the model shows a lot of breaks in the rain, but remember, this is just a computer model scenario. And what if the model is off? Look how close this stuff is. It's right over Hattiesburg. How close is that to our viewing area? 50 miles away, 60 miles away. What if the model is wrong by 50 or 60 miles and all of this stuff you see near Hattiesburg is instead closer to our coast? Well, that will be a problem. So that's what I'm talking about when I say it's too close for comfort. And while today's model shows some breaks for us, will it show that again tomorrow? I'm very curious about what Thursday's models are going to show for us in coastal Mississippi, because I think we're going to get more high resolution information by tomorrow, and it might paint a different picture. It might look worse, I think, in some of the modeling that we see tomorrow compared to this one that kind of looks a little, you know, more optimistic, if you will, with so many breaks in the rain. Then one more time jump, we're going to 7 o'clock in the evening. Notice how most of this is beginning to move off toward the east. I basically have to redraw my shape again, but you can see over in Montgomery, Alabama, maybe toward Mobile, we're still seeing some of this in parts of the Mississippi coast, but it is starting to move out. So, you know, by 7 p.m. in Pearl River County, maybe you're wrapping up. Hancock County, maybe you're done. Stone County might be, you know, bringing this to a close around 6 or 7 p.m., but we're still seeing it in parts of Harrison County, Jackson County, George County. These could be tornado-warned storms during that evening time frame in those places that I've still highlighted. So it is totally possible for there to still be some intense thunderstorms at that time. And then you finally get to 10 p.m., and that's when I think finally we'll see the majority of this over the Alabama line. Now, that's being optimistic, but you know, there's kind of two clusters of this. You see this first cluster I've circled, there's another cluster back here. And if we can get more southern extent, more southern evolution on this second flank, if this develops farther to the south, then we might not be completely done at 10. But based off of what I'm seeing, I think we will most likely be done around 9 or 10 o'clock on Saturday based off of what I'm seeing here. So that's the zoomed out one. We'll do a zoomed in one of the same time, same model, just a different zoom level. And you're going to notice as we're zoomed in, it's not going to look as bad, because for the coastal communities, look, in the morning, many rain-free hours, I'm giving you about a 40 or 50% chance for rain on Saturday morning in our 6 southernmost counties. But then we get to the afternoon, and yeah, here they come, the strong storms moving in from the west. And these, any point on Saturday afternoon could be capable of quite a bit of intensity. Maybe they're producing warnings. I mean, I know we're going to be under a watch. That goes without saying. But will we see warnings in that watch for our 6 southernmost counties, or will those warnings take place just to our north? That remains to be seen. But watch these storms as we evolve through time here going into the afternoon. You can see they do advance toward the east, and any one of these, maybe these by the Alabama line, maybe this one between Wiggins and Lucedale, maybe these about to move in from Slidell, maybe this one about to hit Pearl River County. Any one of those could be capable of triggering a warning, a severe thunderstorm warning, a tornado warning, or anything of that sort. You go to 7 p.m., we're still seeing these move through. Check that one out over Goshe Pascagoula. Got one down by the Gulf waters there. And again, these could be capable of it. But one thing you're noticing, and one thing that I'm noticing too, is that there's a lot of breaks between the storms. So that's like one piece of good news that we are seeing today. It's not a continuous wall of rain. It's not going to be a situation in which it rains every minute, every hour of Saturday afternoon. You're going to get a break in the rain. Maybe your break lasts an hour. Maybe your break lasts 3 or 4 hours. And I'm sure in that 3 or 4 hour time, you're going to be looking at your watch and saying, hey, the weather folks said that it was going to storm and I'm catching a break. What's going on? Well, I'm telling you that there's going to be a break. So it's no surprise if you catch a 3 or 4 hour break between those storms on Saturday. The problem is not the break. The problem is what happens in between the breaks. In order for there to be a break, that means that something happens before it or after it, right? And that something could be an intense thunderstorm that could, produce a tornado or large hail or some damaging straight line wind gusts. So that's the problem with Saturday, is that even though there can be breaks, good, in between those breaks can be some really intense storms, bad. So Saturday is kind of a mixed bag of weather, but it does not look like a complete washout. And frankly, our chance for rain on Saturday isn't even 100%. So maybe some of you go the whole time and don't even get hit by a raindrop or a storm, because we're not going 100% with this coverage. The coverage might not be enough to allow for everyone to get hit by rain and storms. But those that do, I am concerned for, because the intensity looks like it could really be there with all the ingredients setting up. Like we said, by 10 o'clock, most of this stuff is over the Alabama line. So you're seeing the lone storm there, not too far from Gulf Shores, and that's moving eastward. So really not expecting much during those overnight hours into early Sunday. So that's kind of putting it all together for you for Saturday. I think we could see many rain-free hours. Saturday will be a windy day, and there will be some intense thunderstorms developing with some breaks between those storms. Right now, the models we're looking at for today, for Thursday, look like the worst storms could be just north of us. Because look, let's go back and let's go to like 4 and look at our 6 southernmost counties. Yes, we've got storms in here, but we've got a lot of breaks. Now watch what happens if I scoot up. Whoa, it's hitting big. For Hattiesburg and Laurel, there could be tornadoes, there could be damaging straight line gusts, you name it, it could be going down for those areas just north of us. So that's what I'm talking about when I say close call. Even though it might look like we're catching breaks down here on the coast, it might not be that way very close to us. So for now, that's what today's model shows, the worst happening north of us. But I wonder what happens when we check the models again tomorrow. Will it still show that? For now, I think it's too close for comfort, though. One last thing we'll do before we go is talk about the wind, because Saturday will be a windy day. We are expecting those wind gust speeds to top 30 miles an hour. Here's a snapshot of 1 p.m. I think some of the wind gust speeds could approach 40 miles an hour. These will be winds racing in from the Gulf. And I suspect that if we have a high tide on Saturday, that tide could come in a little higher than normal. So don't be surprised if we get put under a coastal flood advisory. Maybe I can make my alert predictions for Saturday. I predict a wind advisory. I predict a tornado watch. I predict a coastal flood advisory. At least those 3 alerts will occur in South Mississippi on Saturday. Maybe we get more than that. Maybe we get some warnings, like a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning. I'm not that good that I can predict whether we're going to see those, not 3 days out. But just know it's a possibility, and that's why we're giving you this first alert right now for your plans this weekend. Obviously, the day after Saturday, Sunday, looking pretty good. Much drier, and wouldn't you know it, the luck of the Irish still keeping for St. Patrick's Day Monday perfect, with no rain in sight and a slight cool down behind the front. So hopefully you're better informed for the weather this weekend, and hopefully you are going to pay extra attention to the weather this weekend. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. Take care, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. We'll see you again next time.